Welcome to Wasonwire. Today we're talking about the Pan-Malaysian Islamic Party, PAS, and its recent, well, frankly surprising overtures. They've reached out to the Malaysian Chinese Association, MCA, and the Malaysian Indian Congress, MIC, historically key players in Perikatan Nasional.
Right, the BN coalition.
Exactly. And PAS has invited them to think about joining Perikatan Nasional, PN, the current opposition bloc.
It's definitely more than just a rumor, isn't it? It feels significant.
It really does. This isn't just some backroom chat. It's a public move that could really shake things up. We want to unpack today what this actually means for alliances, power, the whole political landscape, really.
Yeah, there's a lot layered in there.
Okay, so let's get straight to it. Datuk Seri Tuan Ibrahim Tuan, he's the deputy president of PAS. He put this invitation out there quite openly.
Very publicly.
Yeah, he basically said, look, both MCA and MIC are free to decide their path, and PAS welcomes them because, and this is his quote, every party has its own positioning and supporters.
On the face of it, sounds quite open, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Inclusive, almost.
It does. But what's really telling is the context he added, right?
Absolutely. That's where it gets interesting. He didn't just leave it at a vague welcome.
No.
He specifically said PAS understands that both MCA and MIC are feeling disappointed. That's the word he used.
Disappointed. And why? Because they didn't get government posts, no cabinet seats.
And crucially, as he put it, they are not part of the government. This isn't just, casual sympathy. It feels very pointed.
Right. It's like they're saying, we see you're unhappy over there.
Precisely. It's a strategic appeal, tapping directly into that sense of frustration within Perikatan Nasional. It looks very much like an attempt to maybe draw these disaffected parties towards Perikatan Nasional.
Using their current situation as leverage, almost.
You can certainly see it that way. It's a classic political move, really trying to find cracks in a rival coalition and, well, widen. The message seems pretty clear. You're not getting what you want there. Maybe consider us.
So less of an open hand, more of a calculated offer based on perceived weakness or dissatisfaction.
I think that's a fair reading of the subtext, yeah.
Okay, so that leads to the next big question, doesn't it? PAS has this long-standing core agenda focused on Malay unity. How does inviting non-Malay majority parties like MCA and MIC fit into that picture?
That's the million-dollar question, really, because Tuan Ibrahim and the PAS president Tan Sri Hadi Awang too have consistently emphasized Malayu Bersatu, Malay unity, as absolutely central. It's foundational for them.
So how do they square that circle, inviting parties representing Chinese and Indian communities?
Well, Tuan Ibrahim provides a framework. He clarifies that for PAS, any alliance even, say, with UMNO, the United Malays National Organization has to be built on agreement about certain foundational issues.
Okay, and what are those?
He's very specific. It's about the rights of Islam and Malays, guaranteeing Malay status. Islam is the official religion, Malay is the national language, and Malay culture being the core national culture.
Right.
And he frames these as, quote, basic issues that should not be debated.
Wow, okay, so non-negotiable.
That's exactly the impression. It's not just policy points. It's presented as the fundamental bedrock for any partnership. So for PAS, this idea of Malay unity seems tied directly to upholding these specific constitutional and cultural pillars.
So any party wanting to join the Perikatan Nasional tent, regardless of their own base, would need to accept or at least operate within this framework. It sets very clear ideological boundaries for collaboration. It suggests that while, sure, numbers matter, alignment on these core principles is paramount for PAS.
It certainly puts down a marker. It makes you wonder how parties like MCA and MIC, with their own histories and voter bases, would navigate that. I mean, is it really about broader cooperation, or is it an invitation with such strict conditions? It's almost like saying our way or the highway. It's definitely a very high bar. And MCA and MIC would have to do some serious calculations, weigh the potential benefits maybe getting back into government circles against potentially alienating their own supporters or compromising long-held positions.
Yeah.
From PAS's perspective, maybe it's a way to test if they can broaden their coalition's appeal without watering down their core identity. It's a strategic gamble.
Okay, let's add another layer here, because Tuan Ibrahim also mentioned PAS isn't currently talking about merging with UMNO.
Right, he clarified that.
But, and this is interesting, they are positioning themselves as a kind of middleman, trying to reconcile Bersatu, the Malaysian United Indigenous Party, and UMNO.
Yes, and that's fascinating, isn't it, this dual approach?
How so?
Well, on one hand, they're sending out these invites to parties outside the traditional Malay political sphere like MCA and MIC. But on the other hand, they're actively working within that sphere, trying to smooth things over between Bersatu and UMNO. It shows they're trying to consolidate power in, well, multiple ways.
So not just adding new members, but also strengthening the existing core.
Exactly. It seems aimed at solidifying their position by both expanding their potential base and fostering stability among the established Malay-centric parties. They likely see a fractured Malay political scene as weakening everyone.
So playing mediator isn't just about goodwill.
Probably not entirely, no. It's likely also pragmatic. A more unified Malay bloc, presumably with PAS playing a key role, fits right into their broader Malay unity objective.
And they seem quite practical about achieving goals. Tuan Ibrahim used an example, didn't he?
Yes, the Urban Renewal Act. He used it to illustrate their pragmatism. He pointed out that this act could really affect Malay-majority urban areas.
Okay.
And his point was, look, if PAS opposes this act, but say UMNO supports it and the act passes anyway, then PAS's opposition doesn't really achieve anything tangible, does it? It's just noise.
Right, it becomes symbolic rather than effective.
Precisely. So it shows they're thinking about the bigger picture, about actual outcomes. They seem willing to make alliances or play certain roles if it helps them achieve their policy objectives, provided it aligns with those foundational principles we talked about. It's about strategic impact.
It really does sound like a carefully calculated approach, using dissatisfaction where they see it, like with MCA and MIC, while also trying to manage relationships and push their core agenda through these strategic partnerships and internal diplomacy.
It's a complex balancing act, definitely,
Yeah.
trying to bring different groups together under their specific ideological umbrella.
But like any complex strategy, it must have risks, right? Trying to appeal widely while holding firm on those core principles, could that backfire somehow? Maybe alienate their own base or even create tensions within Perikatan Nasional itself?
Oh, absolutely. There are definite risks. For PAS, the challenge is managing perceptions. They need to reassure their conservative base that they aren't compromising core values.
While also appearing somewhat open to potential new partners.
Exactly. Yeah. If those foundational principles seem too rigid for MCA and MIC, the invitation won't lead anywhere. But if PAS seems too flexible just to build alliances, their own supporters might get nervous. It's like a tightrope. A very fine line. They need to look pragmatic enough to attract allies, but steadfast enough to keep their base loyal. Get it wrong, and it could expose ideological cracks rather than expand influence.
Indeed. Which brings us back to you, our listeners. Seeing all these moves, the invitation, the mediation, the non-negotiables, what do you make of PAS's strategy here? Do you see this reach out to MCA and MIC as a genuine attempt at broader cooperation, albeit within PAS's defined terms? Or is it mainly a tactical play, using current political unhappiness to strengthen their own position based on their specific ideology?
It's a complex picture, and how it plays out remains to be seen.
We'd genuinely be interested to hear your perspectives on this. How do you think these pieces will fit together in the coming months?
Yeah, what's the end game look like to you?
Thank you for joining us for this discussion. Remember to like and subscribe for more insights like this.